Yo, what's going on, guys? Beyond here again, Goosebumps #1 Aussie fan, bringing you yet another video. So not too long ago, guys, a YouTube channel by the name of Youch Films had contacted me asking if I wanted to join in with like a collaboration interview, and it was with the one and only Crone. Now, you guys will remember he actually played that game show host on the One Day at Horrorland episode, and also like that funny like makeup artist horror as well. But he was also Mr. Chesney in the Ghost Next Door episode. So yeah, guys, thanks to Youch Films. Subscribe to them. It's in the description right now, okay? Just hit that subscribe button. And of course, hit my subscribe button too, guys. Please. So anyway, guys, without further ado, and also we did ask him other questions about other things he's done, because he was one of the original voice actors for the Thomas the Tank Engine show, and a few other things like The Recruit. He was in Hairspray, like a few little things, you know, small parts here and there. But I will just show you guys, obviously, the Goosebumps side of it, because we spoke about it for about 10-15 minutes or so. Anyway, guys, without further ado, here is the interview.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another installment of the Youch Films podcast. Today we have with us a very talented actor, comedian, and writer. He's appeared in over a dozen shows and has several books available for both children and adults. Please help me give a warm welcome to the talented Crone.
You hear them screaming in the background.
Tyler, you needed to bring your Google sound effects with you.
Dude, Google just completely... the sound effects are gone. You didn't know that?
Oh, I didn't. I don't use them.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone now. I can't bring the Google sound effects. I'm sorry, Ezra. But anyways.
I guess let's just start from the very beginning. How did you become involved in acting and writing? Where did your passion grow from these things?
Well, I think I've been, interested in that ever since I was a kid, and sort of being the class clown and kind of wanting to be the center of attention and that kind of thing. One thing led to another, and I found myself, performing in, school plays and things like that, and loving that, and loving the rush that you get from having a live audience, and before you know it, it's something that you really want to do. I didn't do it professionally until I think I was 27, I guess. Yeah, in 1987, because I was a high school teacher prior to that for 3 years, believe it or not.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh yeah. And then, but the whole time I was teaching high school, I was performing downtown and doing sketches and improv comedy and stuff like that. And so when the opportunity came along to audition for Second City, I took it, and then they hired me, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Very impressive. Now, folks, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit because I totally forgot to introduce the people who are joining me here. We have Bjorn from the Goosebumps #1 Aussie fan channel. He's probably the biggest Goosebumps fan in the world. And then we also have Tiki from SoYouWant ToBeAnImagineer. I just wanted to get that out. I'm sorry, Neil, for...
Well, I can tell you don't like me anymore. I mean, that's so clear. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So, Neil, what did you get involved with after that? How did people contact you, and what did you do?
Well, having Second City on my resume was a big deal, and it is for most actors, and it gives you a lot of legitimacy. It made it very easy for me to get an agent at that point in time. And once I had an agent, then I was being sent out on auditions for, commercials, television shows, movies, films, radio stuff. And initially I did a lot of commercial work, which was great because it was a great way to make money and a great way to learn about camera and how to be on set and and practice your craft, and then bit by bit, slowly, nicer roles came along, bigger opportunities to do television work, do film work, and that kind of thing.
Okay, very impressive.
Awesome.
So we're just going to cut straight to Goosebumps here. When did that come along? Because that was like 1990. Can you correct me here, Jordan?
97, I believe, was the one
Yeah.
at Horrorland.
That sounds right, because I remember that, because that was a particularly difficult shoot. I don't know if you guys have any pictures of me on that day, but I was shooting for a week. I played 3 different monsters on this show, and they don't tell you that when you audition for the show. You go in and you do the voices of the different monsters and whatnot, and it doesn't occur to you at the time of the audition that you're going to be encased in a foam muscle suit. You're going to have a complete head cast done of your head, which is, they wrap your entire head in plaster, and they make a mold of it for this enormous headset that has these huge, very heavy curly horns on it. And we were shooting in August, and I remember I had a very bad moment. I was sitting in the makeup chair, and the guys were I had the foam muscle suit on, and it had to be 30-35 degrees Celsius, outside, very humid. So I was already sweating and warm, and then they pulled this this headpiece on over my head, and it fits incredibly snugly because it has to look realistic. It gets attached to the neck of your muscle suit, so you're completely sewn in here.
Oh,
and
man!
Then they begin to they latex in the mask around your eyes.
Oh,
and there were no nose holes on it. There was only a slit for a mouth. So I started to I felt my pulse started to race like crazy. My vision started to get blurry, and the 2 special effects guys who were working on me were right in front of me. And I said, guys, I think I'm having a panic attack. I want to pull this thing off right now. And they were great, because they had been guys who had been doing this all their life, and they kind of got right in my face, and they talked me down. They literally said, relax, breathe, you'll get through it. And I did. I was able to get into the suit, and we shot this thing for, I think I was shooting for like 5 days in a row, and it was exhausting. I think I must have lost about 20 pounds just from sweat. And in between takes, I had this great small army of people who would rip the back of the suit open and put a fan on my spine to try to keep me cool. So it was crazy. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to do all 3 different characters and whatnot. But it was very, very taxing. And I remember about halfway through the shoot, my wife arrived with my 2 little boys, and they were 7 years old and 4 years old at the time. And my wife walked them over towards me, and I went to go to say hello to the guys, and forgetting that I was dressed like this monster. Just terrified the hell out of my 2 children until they heard my voice, and even then they weren't entirely sure until they saw me take the head of the thing off. But that was quite a deal. I did a few episodes of Goosebumps. The other ones were much less physically taxing. I got to play regular people. I played a postman in one of them, which was a lot of fun.
Oh yes, Ghost Next Door.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were great. I mean, Goosebumps employed a lot of Canadian actors because they shot so many episodes up here, and it was a great way for a lot of us, to learn our craft and to get on camera and to have some fun doing that stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and it gave me huge cred with my kids, because my kids grew up watching me. They grew up watching me on television, so it was no big deal for them. And it literally wasn't until I went to college, and his roommates found out that his dad had been on Goosebumps, and so suddenly he was the
dude. Oh god,
that's so awesome. I gotta ask, did Hannah ever get her letter to Mr. Chesney?
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Oh damn!
Sorry, Hannah.
Oh god.
And then Bjorn, did you have any other questions for Neil regarding Goosebumps?
Yeah, like I just had to ask. I mean, you obviously grew up like in the prime time, in the prime time of Goosebumps and being in the show, So was it kind of just like everywhere you went? Like if you go to the grocery store, like did you just see Goosebumps like everywhere?
Well, I mean, I think it was very big, and again, as I said, my kids at the time were right in that window as well. And I was, I think we had every R.L.Stine book, that was written, and they loved that kind of thing, and it was very cool for them to become able to come down to set and see it. Yeah, it was kind of everywhere, which was cool. But again, as at the time, I guess I was in my 30s, 37 years old, I guess, 1997. I don't think I realized what a huge phenomenon it was. I knew that my kids liked it, and it was kind of a cool job, but it was just a job to me at the time,
Yeah, that's it. Did R.L.Stine ever like visit the set? Because I noticed a few set photos that he was actually present. So
yeah, I had that same question too.
I didn't see him at our set at all on either one of the episodes that I shot. He may have been, I might not even have recognized him, but I certainly was never ever introduced to him. That's for sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just think Goosebumps is such a powerful learning tool for kids, and it was almost kind of like the proto Harry Potter in that way, where it was just these things that, and I was definitely in that age range, picking them up and reading them, and they were written very easily to just digest and get into. And so I think on the Goosebumps, the TV series end of things, I was talking about this a little bit before we went on air. On the TV series end of it, it's kind of like you have these kids who are reading these books, and then it's like every week as the TV show comes out, it's just like, okay, what are they going to adapt next week? What are they going to adapt next week? And me being the big theme park fan I loved Horrorland, and of course, Horrorland was just that was my thing. That was my episode.
Yeah,
that's right.
They were great books. They were. I mean, I'm a big reader. I'm a big fan of reading, and I'm a huge fan of anything that gets kids reading. And yeah, you're right. Those books they predated the Harry Potter phenomenon.
That's it. And
no, there's no telling how many kids those books hooked on reading. And those kids would then graduate, to Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft and start reading for life, which is wonderful.
So Goosebumps became this huge like giant without the internet or social media. It just became this huge phenomenon without the use of all that. Like Harry Potter was more like the early 2000s sort of thing, so it had the use of the internet and social media, but Goosebumps became this huge thing without all that, just kids telling kids. It was like a little secret kids network that Stein described it to be. And it's so cool to know that it became a huge thing just through kids,
like reality. I'm sorry. Reality basically became like, are you afraid of the dark? It was just like kids were just like getting around in campfires. Like, oh, have you heard of the Haunted Mask? Have you heard of the Legend of Terror Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's great. I mean, it sort of did. It sort of brought back the era of the spooky story, the telling ghost stories and stuff, which I think everybody is kind of wired to enjoy, on some level. And again, because the books were, of a size that little hands could read them pretty quickly, they were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And did you gain any friendships through your working experience with Goosebumps? What was that all like?
Well, the people that I worked with, the people who became my best friends over that shoot were the people who were helping me, and those were, the special effects guys who were remarkable guys and very, very, very funny guys too, because they were used to working under very stressful conditions and stuff, and the wardrobe people, and and I've since learned in my 30 years of being in the business that those people, the wardrobe people, can be your saviors, because they're the ones who are, everybody else is just kind of worried about getting the shot and making sure that that what's on camera looks good, and they make their schedule for the day. So you can be dying inside a piece of very uncomfortable a wardrobe, and the director doesn't really care that much about it, and the producers don't really. but the wardrobe people, you know, they got their eye on you, and they.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Yeah, he did. Accidentally. Oh boy. So
Sounds of
Ezra,
silence.
what was your favorite Goosebumps book growing up?
I don't know. I had a bunch. I think one of my favorite pieces of artwork was from the Ghost Speech. Ghost Speech, yeah. And Haunted Mask too. I like the artwork on those books. Neil, I think you muted yourself there.
Yeah, I wrote a message in chat too. Hopefully he'll.
That's unfortunate. He was in the middle of a really interesting.
I mean, this has happened before, right? Like, it's happened with poor Jacob before, where Jacob will just go on a tangent and he'll be muted, and it'll be like, oh no, oh this. And it was going so well to start. I was so into this. Okay.
Everything's fine. We just need to get this figured out.
I'm sure it'll come back on.
Once Neil gets done with whatever, just like, you know, super insightful, deep philosophical thought that he has right now, I'm sure he'll realize that we're not responding to him. Oh, Andy's gone. Okay.
That's not a good sign. Sorry, folks.
Well, it's Hangouts being Hangouts, Sandy. I mean, I can vouch for that. Hangouts has been super tricky the past few weeks, you know. Everybody loves Raymond and whatnot and so on.
Oh, there we are.
All right.
Sorry,
cool.
guys.
We're back.
My phone just rang. It was my dad calling me. I took a message, but I guess it just totally hung up on you guys.
I guess that's what we do. Microphone.
That's fine. That's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. What I was saying, the wardrobe people are the ones that can save your bacon sometimes. There's no question.
All right.
And I think that may just wrap up Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
Unless he wants to see a really awesome collection.
Oh yeah, Neil, would you like to see his collection he has?
What's the collection of?
Goosebumps.
Like just the book?
No, the Bjorn, you'll have to show
all things Goosebumps. Oh. Hold on, I'll lock it onto his screen.
Camera around. Oh god, how do I turn this around? Here we go. Oh, there we go.
Oh man.
Oh, holy cow! Yeah.
Right.
And it goes all the way.
Oh, that's impressive.
And there's 2 rooms of that, if I'm correct.
My goodness. Yeah.
He could literally start a Goosebumps museum with that type of stuff.
You could.
Oh yes, and we got plenty of the Horrorland in here too. So.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
We're all set for that.
Well, I guess that covers about everything. We covered film and writing and everything. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add on?
I actually had one question. Now, obviously, after the success of like the Goosebumps film and everything, there is a rumor going around that the sequel, because there is a release date now actually for next year, September, and there is a rumor going around that it may possibly be Horrorland. If you were approached to cameo or take some part in it, would you be down for that?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what. I'm 56 now, and I think when I first made that first version of Horrorland, I was in my 30s, and to put that freaking suit back on again. I don't know,
what if it was like motion capture at this point? What if you just had to wear the weird Andy Serkis motion capture suit?
Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about doing that. But you never know. I mean, you know. I'm a Canadian actor. We do anything, right? So
yeah, because even in the first film, a lot of the original stars, they sort of cameoed here and there, even like as students and teachers, like just sort of in the background here and there. But it was pretty cool to see them.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, for people who are really into the show and who would get that, yeah, I would totally be up doing that. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
cool.
What did you think of the film? Were you excited for it? Were you just like, yeah, it's there?
Yeah, I was more, you know, again, it's funny because for me, it's a job. It's a job I love, but it's not something that I get gaga about, you know. And if I watch something, I generally watch it because I want to see a friend who's in it or something like that. But it is funny because people say that I ruin films for them because it's like, and I'm watching it and going, oh, look at the lighting in that shot. Or, oh, that's cool dialogue. Look at that. You're wrecking it. Stop it, you know.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken filmmaking classes in high school, and people say I do that same thing. So
yeah, I know we're not much fun in a movie theater.
Right. My dad vividly remembers me just scoffing over and over again when we went to go see Live Free or Die Hard. Every time they would have Bruce Willis not swear, and I'm like, oh, this is PG-13, Die Hard. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so we've got one of our viewers here. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Oh no, I just said fun times.
Oh, okay. So one of our viewers here, he missed the first 30 minutes, and he's wondering if you could do your Russian Diesel 10 impression again.
Sorry, the phone just rang again, guys. Sorry.
Okay. One of our viewers here, we have a few viewers here, and he's wondering, he missed the first 30 minutes of the podcast, and he's wondering if you could do your Diesel 10 Russian impression again.
Okay, certainly. This is the voice of Diesel 10. He was a great big voice of a very stupid man, stupid train, who's been sniffing too much of his own diesel fumes. There we go.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Well, Neil, is there anything else you guys wanted to add on to anything?
I think I'm good, man. I think we've covered a good variety of stuff here.
Yeah, asked all the questions that I was wanting. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Neil, I'd love to thank you for joining us. This was such a pleasure.
Well, thank you, guys. It was nice chatting with you.
You too. Thank you so much.
And on that note, everyone, don't forget to subscribe and check out our latest podcast we have coming up. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was pretty awesome to finally speak to someone from the TV show, so thank you again.
Youch Films.
I will be working with them in the future again. We've spoke about it, so that will be really awesome. Thank you so much for thinking of me and getting me involved. Thank you very much. Subscribe to them, guys. Remember that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon.